All right, at this time, if you would, please rise with me as we say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Commissioner Smith, will you open in prayer?
Our Heavenly Father, as we come to you just now, we thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to come together to do the business of the county. Lord, we would ask that you would help us today and guide us in the things that we do, that we would do the things that would be in the best interest of the people of Scioto County. Lord, we ask that you would guide us in that direction and take us to where we need to be so that we wouldn't make decisions just based on ourselves, but we make decisions based on what's the best for the community around us. Lord, we thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for all the people that are out here today. We ask these things in your precious name, and amen.
Amen. Please be seated. To respect everyone's time, and especially those that are standing, I am going to forego the agenda for now, gentlemen, and after we get through, I'm guessing everybody's here for a data center discussion, yeah? So you probably don't want to hear about some of the other stuff, and if you do, you're more than welcome to stay. So I do want to jump around the agenda this morning, if that's okay with you, gentlemen. First off, thank you for being here. Thank you for being engaged. Thank you for coming and being a part of what we do here in the county. I first want to give some background in terms of how we got here, some of the information within the tax incentive, and then also a little bit of the facts around this project. I do want to let you all know that this meeting will probably feel a little frustrating for you, just as much as it is for us, because the three of us are still under an NDA. So we can speak, we can speak in generalities. We can speak specific to the item that we will be discussing and voting on the 22nd. But the specifics of the company, right now they've asked to remain anonymous. Some of this very specifics of the project we won't be able to go into. So as you're asking certain things, if we say, I'm sorry, we can't answer that yet, we may know the answers that's helping us get to a decision point, but until that's released by the company, unfortunately, we can't discuss it. We'll do our best to share what we can at this point. So last year, about 6-7 months ago, the county was approached by a Fortune 100 tech company through Jobs Ohio to consider putting a data center here in Scioto County. The important parts of this project is the county does not control the land. This is a private development and private land. The county does not control permitting. So we are not voting on whether or not a data center will be in Scioto County. So I want to make sure we clear that first. What this board will be deciding is whether or not we want to provide a tax incentive to this company to continue to build here, to be good partners, to work on public infrastructure items that we're aware of. That's what we're truly deciding, and I know the community is. So the question is, are we voting on whether or not we're allowing a data center to be here? That's actually not what we're deciding. It's whether or not we're going to be a partner with this data center. Before I get into further details, I will let you know that this specific property in Haverhill, whether it's this company or the next, there's another data center that is biting at the bit for this very similar property due to the logistics of the property. So in my estimation, it's not if it's a data center, it's which company that we could be working with here in Scioto County. So anyway, about 6-7 months ago, we were asked if we would consider a CRA, Community Reinvestment Area, specific to the Haverhill area. Some people might know this as the Norfolk Southern property, if you're familiar with that area. We made that a CRA area last year, designated. That's something you have to do. And then once an area is designated, then the company can come in and ask for a tax abatement. We've had multiple conversations with the company. I have read the comments online, and I will be honest, the comments that you share online, I had the very same feelings, and I'll let the other two speak, but I know I've probably been dealing with this quite a bit the longest. I had the same concerns about electric use. I had the same concerns about water. I had the same concerns about jobs. So all the comments I saw online, I'm generally not surprised. That it's all what we hear in the community. It's the thing we're hearing in media right now throughout the state and through the country. But as I've dug into this project and interacted with this specific company, it became very clear that not all data centers are the same. Very similar to other industries in this county, we have a very human nature to lump all things as the same thing, and all negative things get lumped onto a singular industry. So I've been on site to see the operations, to talk to operations folks, and to get a better understanding of truly what does this mean for the county. So we've done that. We've been back and forth on a CRA, which is a community reinvestment agreement. And what we're considering, or what we will consider to vote on the 22nd of January, is a tax abatement specific to this project in Green Township. Some of the details that I can share, once again, it is a $1 billion project. That is $500,000 building cost, or $500 million rather, building cost, and $500 million in machinery and equipment costs. That's for this phase. In this document, it's 50 full-time employment, not counting any ancillary supportive services, so 50 full-time jobs. At peak, it is 1,200 or 1,300 construction jobs, and I know we have some tradesmen here, so I'm sure you guys can confirm that that's pretty consistent with some of these larger data centers. So 1,200 construction jobs at peak. So that's the economic development impact, not counting some of the, hi, welcome. Sorry, there's additional chairs if you guys want to get some chairs, or, but welcome. So that's the employee positions. In terms of, one thing we thought was critical, and you don't typically see in CRAs, is the commitment from the company to use local labor, local unions to engage. Sir, we'll get to statements here toward the end.
We'll get.
I will.
When you use abbreviations, could you tell us what you mean?
When I said what, a CRA?
Abbreviation, CRA.
So CRA is the community reinvestment area. So that's the agreement. So from here on out, I'll call it a CRA. Okay. Thank you, sir. So we did go back and forth with the company to secure language that they will reach out directly to our tradesmen and our unions. I know that our local workers have been building the future elsewhere for many years and decades. I know many of them have been driving 2, 3, 4 hours a day to get to work. So this was critical for this board, and something we felt strongly about. Part of that is that the company will also provide us an annual report that details out really what that engagement looks like and how much local was used. Prevailing wage is specific to public infrastructure that will be impacted. And then we get to the actual tax abatement. So the tax abatement itself is 75%. Which means 25% is still taxed, so the land is still taxed the same, so the schools will still be getting the same that they've always had currently on the land. I think it's farmland at this point. Some of it's not even farmland. Any of the improvement, the improvement will be abated at 75%. So the company will still pay 25% of the tax. But then also there is what's called a pilot in lieu of tax, or payment in lieu of taxes. Sir, when we'll talk about that, we'll call it a pilot, payment in lieu of taxes. So the pilot is a base of $500,000 annually. But then there's also added revenue that comes into the county based on the square footage that the company builds. So the very real example spelled out in the CRA is if they build 1.5 million square feet, we're talking about 500,000. But if they would build 1.5 million square feet, the pilot would be the base plus the factor would be $1.1 million coming into the county not counting the 25% that they're already paying in taxes. So that's what we're looking at in terms of the payment in lieu of taxes. When you start doing the math, it really breaks it down to, it sounds like they're getting 75% abated when you put the extra factor and the pilot in there, it's in the 50 percentages. And that moves depending on square footage. Elsewhere in the state, communities are getting 75% total, or they're getting, or rather the companies are getting 75% or 60 in best case scenarios. This is likely the best deal in the state of Ohio in terms of tax revenue coming into the community from an abatement and a pilot standpoint. So we went back and forth on that because we do recognize that the finished product, while it might not create as many jobs as we had hoped for that site, there's also value in the many jobs that will be created for many years for the construction workers as well. So, we came to a win-win, I believe, for the county and the company to come together on this project. The rest of the CRA, most of it's legalese, but that is the base of what we're going to be deciding on the 22nd of January. Before I move to any questions from the audience, I'll open it up to my fellow commissioners if you have any additional comments at this time.
The couple things I would like to comment on. Number one is the fact that we really have no control over the property. The property is private property, and basically where we came to in our discussions was who is the best company to deal with, because there's going to be companies come, and there's already, as Scotty has mentioned, there's already a company lined up behind this one to be interested in the property if they don't take it. So we had to balance out who is the best company to deal with. And in the rationale of looking at the companies, we toured one of the facilities, Scotty and I did, and this company seemed to be the best to deal with and who we were dealing with. And number two, I want to go back to the labor issue. Is we would probably a month ago, probably have come together on this,
Yeah.
but we stood firm on making sure that we got the language in there to get these guys the wording to say that they would work with local unions and local labor, because knowing that our local people are traveling different places, it'd be great to stay home and work in the area where you live. And that's not been the case for a long time. And we weighed that out as we were going through this, and we felt like that was the most important thing. And actually, with this company, it was one of the things that we felt like we could have walked away from the project if they weren't willing to do that. So, and maybe going to another company, but they were willing to come through with that. So those are a couple issues I wanted to add to what has already been said in this.
Do you, we'll get to questions, ma'am. You want to mention your conversation with Green Local? Because I know in terms of taxes, they're the ones that are mostly affected by the abatement.
And Jody Armstrong is here, the superintendent from up Green, and I wanted to make sure that this was transparent to the people in the community. So I went to a trustee meeting to meet with the Green Township trustees so that they understood where this was. And this was, what, Jody, a month ago maybe? And just so happened Jody was at the meeting. There was it wasn't planned that way, but she was there. And so we were able to go over a lot of this stuff and talk about, some of the stuff that was going to be coming. And at that time, I was locked under more of a non-disclosure agreement, so couldn't say a whole lot. So I went up yesterday before this was announced, yesterday morning, I called a meeting with them to try to get together and talk to them and make sure that they were aware of what was coming and what was going on. And as far as how the school feels, I'm not going to address that. That would be Jody. You guys would have to talk to her about that. But I felt pretty comfortable with the fact that they understood where we were, understood what the company that was coming and how that this was going to work, and we just wanted to make sure that there was transparency in it. And I couldn't be two places at once yesterday, and so I couldn't get out to see vocational school, so I did call the superintendent of vocational school yesterday morning and discussed everything with him. And he said, that's okay, I feel pretty comfortable with where it is. Not that I'm not gonna say they agree or they disagree, but they were comfortable with understanding where it was, because we have, through this whole process, we have been as transparent as we have been allowed to be, because under the non-disclosure agreement, we just couldn't talk about a lot of things. And I'd say probably 100 times in the last few months, do you know what's going on up Franklin Furnace? Do you know what the drilling is up there? Do you know what's happening up there? And yeah, but I can't talk about it. And so, we've been as transparent as we could under the agreement that we signed. And part of the reason is this company does not want to disclose who they are right now, but they're a company that we felt comfortable with after looking at the companies that we thought would be a possibility.
Thank you for that, sir.
Yeah. These fellas are as sincere, as honest as they can possibly be, and I concur with everything both gentlemen have had to say so far.
Okay, so the way we operate, and I would like to continue to operate, but I'm going to hold the ability to call an audible if we have to. So if you've ever gone and participated in any public meeting, really anywhere, typically you get 5 minutes, you get to speak, they say thank you, you go sit down. That's normal just about anywhere else. Here we're a little different, and I would like to stay different, but if it kind of goes a little sideways, I guess I'll have to revert to that. So typically we'll allow folks to come to the mic. If you want to ask questions, we are more than happy to answer what we can. If you just want to provide a comment, that's also okay. Try to limit your comments or questions. If somebody's already issued or raised an issue specific to electric, water, noise, and we've answered that, let's try to let the answer lay instead of having the same question asked multiple times. Because some of it we can talk about, some of it we can't. So with that, and I'll try to make this as orderly as possible, I also want to mention that I know there's a lot of people here, and on our agenda at, is it 10 o'clock? Yeah. At 10 o'clock, I'm going to pause. It does not mean that we're going to stop discussion, but we have a hard pause at 10 o'clock just to do a bid opening should we have any bids show up. And then once that takes place, it's a very quick thing. We can get right back into some discussions. So with that, if you do come to the podium, please say who you are and maybe where you're from or who you're with, and we'll jump right in. Hi.
Hello. I'm Lori Swain. I live here in Portsmouth. And I don't think that we'll be able to abide by that suggestion that if someone mentions electricity or water, no one else should do it. Probably most of the room is concerned about that.
Agreed.
It's well documented that data centers everywhere, don't care what company, in the communities with data centers, there's increased health problems. And that's problematic for Scioto County because we already have a heavy burden of health outcomes by the Ohio Department of Health and our local health. In many measures, we are the unhealthiest county in the state. So we already have high mortality from legacy contamination and pollution. Many deaths in our area are from industries that we were told would provide good jobs and that were about progress and innovation, and now we're hearing the same story. Here's what we know from studies, countless studies about data centers. They continuously emit noise, light, and air pollution that make humans and non-humans sick, yet because many data centers are located in poor and rural areas like ours, it's considered no big deal, like we are sacrifice zones. Secondly, we know that a data center consumes vast amounts of precious water from 1 to 5 million gallons a day. And at the other end of the operation, data centers dump millions of gallons of contaminated water into our watershed, into our creeks, streams, rivers. All the studies, all of them show that the massive energy demands for data center cause residential electricity rates to increase. A recent Carnegie Mellon study predicted that the average residential electric bill for customers living in the area with data centers will rise from 8% to 25%. And here everyone, I would imagine that most people in this room are already laid low with AEP's electric bills. In terms of jobs, it's true that construction phase of the data center will provide temporary jobs, hopefully union jobs. We support union jobs, but the prospect of permanent jobs is bleak. You said 50 jobs. Most of those are remote. They might not even be for people here, and they are IT jobs. When you factor in the generous tax abatement that the county's offering, and the minus the cost of health and environmental outcomes, in addition to our pocketbooks, it doesn't seem like a good deal for the people of Scioto County. So what we're asking is for you to slow down. This is the 8th. You're going to make this decision about tax abatement in 14 days. Slow down. Allow there to be more public hearings. Allow them to be at night when more people can show up. You know, we all know that Scioto County commissioners cannot even risk the hint of not being transparent. Yet, everyone can get behind this non-disclosure agreement and say we can't tell you anything. We are demanding full transparency. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Larry. Thank you.
I'm Eric O'Neill. I hope to live out the rest of my life in Scioto County, but I'm deeply concerned about this proposal to develop a data center here. It will bring so many negative outcomes to our health, our environment, our supply of natural resources, and our money. Please reverse this decision. That reversal would show real, not artificial intelligence.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, I'm Bobby Cole, and I'm the business manager for Local 577 Plumbers and Pipe Fitters, and also the president for the Ohio State Building Trades. I represent all crafts here today. As Merritt mentioned there earlier about our construction workers having to travel, I've been in this local for 36 years. I've been the business manager for the last 13 years. The last 13 years I've been sending guys to work. And you know, since 2009 we haven't had a lot of big projects in this area since we put the scrubbers on all the coal burning powerhouses and finished that up in 2009. So our guys have been traveling. Currently we have 65 of our members that are traveling to Columbus every day to work, and 90% of those guys are working on data centers, and they have been for the last 6-7 years. I crunched a few numbers just to bring in here last week when I found out that this was probably going to happen. So out of the 50-60 guys we got working on data centers in Columbus, Ohio right now, and in 2024, those guys worked enough hours that their wages was $204,000 plus a year. They averaged, those 5 guys, over $204,000 in wages and put $107,000 into their benefits, into their pension and health and welfare. And I stand here today to fully support this data center, and I commend the commissioners and encourage the commissioners to allow this tax abatement and let this project go forward.
Thanks, Bobby.
My name is Becky O'Connor,
Becky?
and I have some very, very big concerns, and I support those that have supported not having an AI plant in our area, and support everything they've said. One thing you said is that you had no control of the land. So you say you had no control, but how, these kind of plants, they need to be specifically zoned for that plant. How did that get zoned without us all knowing and all the people in the Franklin furnace?
No, it's a good question. There's not a lot of zoning in the county outside of really the city. I think we might have a couple townships that have zoning that happens at the trustee level. We actually had a zoning proposition that failed on the west side of the county just this last election cycle. So in terms of zoning and permitting, that is in the industrial corridor. There is factories down there. The site has always been targeted for an industrial size development. So it's not targeted towards a residential. It's targeted to what has been developed and quite frankly, even prior to me being a commissioner, has been developed to be able to handle an industrial size project. I know there was a couple $1 million spent to expand the sewer basically from Scioto County all the way to Lawrence County. So it's, even if there was zoning, I guess is the point, that it's still in the industrial area that has been targeted for decades, quite
Now,
frankly.
it may be an industrial area, and it is an industrial area,
Yeah.
but this is a total thing, different thing than having a factory. This is really concerning because we're gonna have the humming of the machines. You know, all of you guys who support this should have to live right there in Franklin County and see what it feels like. Because you know what? There's so many people that went for this in different cities and they decided that it was a bad deal once it was done. And there you have buyer's remorse. And you should be looking up on the internet and seeing what they feel like, because that's exactly what you're gonna feel like. Exactly. Those people that are, the presidents of these companies, they should have to live. You don't see them having their plants in their backyard, do you? No, because it's a reason. They think us hillbillies will put up with it and we're dumb enough to do it. And that's the truth. You go look on the internet, guys, you'll find out that this is not good. This is not a good thing. It's not worth our health. And even if they find ways to reduce the water, those plants that have reduced the water consumption, the electricity rates went up. You have to increase electricity in order for the water rates to go down. That they're consuming so much water. And that water's like poison. You can't use it again. And I don't know about you, but I lived in California for a while. I grew up in California until I was past college. And it's not fun to have to reserve your water. Only watering our lawn on certain days. We can only wash our car on certain days. It was a real bummer. And also, the thing is that, yeah, you're going to have these people that make $200,000 a year. Who makes raise your hand if you
Ma'am.
make $200,000 a year?
If you could just address us, please, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, you want me to address just you because you don't want me to have any say about these people.
No, it's
Very
because we're
good,
the ones that
Scotty.
have to vote on it.
Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, sneaky. Yeah, that's exactly, yeah. Anyway, so I don't like the deal, Scotty, not at all. And also, you say you're gonna make these jobs that make $200,000 a year. A lot of these people here don't make $60,000 a year. And, spreading the wealth would be a little better. And having their electricity rates go up is not good. And the health and the cost of that definitely is not worth it. And me, I have a rental in Hilltop. And as a realtor, and I know my realtor friends don't like this either because property values will decrease. It's been known. You can look on the internet and find out property values will decrease. And if my renters aren't able to pay rent because of the electricity bills going high, I'm not going to be able to collect my rent. And that's not fair because I've worked hard. I'm one of those people that make sure that the house is doing well and that it's, everything's repaired. I'm not one of those renters that let the let the roofs leak or anything. I take good care, and I think that I deserve to be able to have renters who are taken care of. That's it.
Thank you.
I just have a few things to say. I'm Malitzin
I'm sorry, your name?
Martinez from Lucasville.
Okay, nice to meet you.
So this probably is a little far from us, but I think that the tax abatement is too generous, you know, like residents don't have that tax abatement. Most companies don't have the tax abatement, especially if they cause all these problems that she was talking about, which is all over the internet. It's too generous. It's way too generous. And well, I know it's private property, but it's on your court to decide the taxes. And 75% abatement is ridiculous. We don't pay 25% of what we're supposed to pay in taxes, you know? Most of us have to pay everything. And the other companies too. And the damage that they cause is less, so you need to reconsider that, you know? That's what you can decide, then decide that 25% for them in taxes to pay is not enough. Not enough for all the damage that they're gonna cause.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is it 10? Oh, you can stand there, that's fine. We're going to pause for our bid opening for, which project is this, Amanda? And I apologize.
No, New Boston.
Village over walking trail project regarding the CDBG grant.
Okay, perfect. So this is a project that we were awarded community revitalization money specifically for New Boston. $500,000 for New Boston through the CDBG. This is specifically to a walking project connected to that larger project.
So the first bid I have is from TAP Realty LLC. So the total amount is $434,921. The next bid is Scioto Valley Paving. Looks like their bid is $329,850. The next bid is Fillmore Construction. Their bid is $427,526.80. And the last bid that I have is from Allard Excavation. and their bid is $376,273.90.
Okay. That was the last bid?
Yes.
All right. At this point, I'll entertain a motion to forward the bids to our consultant for review and recommendation. Can I get that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Got a motion?
Second it.
Got a second?
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Moll?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye. Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for letting us pause for that. We have to stick to a very strict time frame on bid openings. So we'll continue.
Good morning. My name is Rebecca Smith, and I live in Franklin Furnace, and we live on Bromlin Road, and so I'm here with my husband and my neighbor. And we have great concerns because we were given a map of possibly where everything was going to take place. And we are right there on the edge of that. And so we were wanting to know, when are we going to be made aware of how it's going to impact our community?
Sure. That's a great question. The reality is, after, I fully expect the company will be making some sort of public outreach after we clear through the CRA, should we do that. So I believe they'll start doing some community outreach and things like that to better educate, and so you guys definitely understand what it looks like down there. I know we were talking earlier about possible noise pollution, and I've heard that a lot. I can tell you I was on site specifically. Once again, I'll speak very specific to the company and not all data centers in totality, just so we're clear. The site we was on was literally 20 feet from multiple of these buildings, and the highway was louder. So I'm not sure where the noise pollution question comes from. In terms of the light pollution, if you want to call it that, it is an industrial area. Of course, there's going to be a lot of lights, whether it's a data center or anything else. I think we see that on every factory and everything down through that corridor. Since you're standing here, I'll go ahead and talk about water too, if that's okay with you. So the water concern, it's a dual strategy for water. When you look at sinks, toilets, kitchens, that's going to be serviced through Portsmouth Water. Nothing to do with the cooling process will hit the public utility in terms of Portsmouth Water. The strategy here is to pull water from the Ohio River to cool the system, and then it goes back through a treatment process that is then discharged like every other water treatment plant in the county, in the country, that's managed and monitored by the EPA. Same thing with any of the vapors or anything that's highly regulated, and they will be filing for EPA permits for any of that stuff as well. So since you were standing there, and I know you're probably more directly impacted than most because you're literally right where construction is. And then of course it's I want to sugarcoat it, the hassle of dealing with construction while it's happening. So we hope there will be outreach relatively soon. I can't speak for the company's timeline, but we are encouraging them as soon as possible, quite frankly, to share their more detailed plans with the community.
Okay, and then my other question is like, do you know the company's plans for the impact it's going to have on like the environment? Like we have lots of lightning bugs and lots of little critters running around, and we really enjoy that. And that's part of like living on the river. It's part of the beauty of Franklin Furnace is having all of that.
Sure.
And if you've ever been on Bromlin Road in particular, you know just how pleasant it is. And we all of us neighbors walk lots of times, with our dogs and all that stuff. You enjoy all that. It's going to have a negative impact on all of that. And so do you know what the company's plan is to kind of help preserve that? Just like how we had talked earlier about how they have cleaned up the Ohio River so much. And, we have gotten the mayflies back. Yeah, they're annoying, but they're a good sign that the ecosystem is good. Are they going to go away just because, of all the pollution? That's a huge concern.
Yeah, I appreciate the concern. I'm trying to say this without figuring out what I can say. I can tell you that sustainability plans was shared. We kind of heard from some of their folks of how they handle these things and the pride they take in sustainability efforts. Outside of that, but in terms of my conversations with them, once again, similar concerns. There's no concern I saw on Facebook that quite frankly, we didn't have. And we kind of worked through those to even get to a comfort level to get to this point, should we want to pass an abatement. So once again, I think you'll hear a lot more from the company when they decide to come public.
I have one more question, if you don't mind.
Yeah. One thing, when we did go tour this facility, we met with a number of their people. And that was part of what, for me personally, that pushed me over to think that this company is the better of the companies to deal with, is that they did address some of those concerns. They said, we have people that are looking at those things. And, they're not, any impact is going to be a problem with that. It's not going to be perfectly what it's always been before. But they said, we want to be a part of that community, and we want that community to be we want to be as non-intrusive as we can be when we put a facility like this on there. Now, that doesn't mean they're going to be non-intrusive, but they want to be as non-intrusive as possible. So, and because of that, that probably was part of what pushed me towards this company to say, hey, I think this company is one of maybe the best that we can deal with, because, as we said, we can't not deny someone from going there eventually, but we can try to find the best company that we can to be there.
Thank you.
Okay, and then my other question is that, our taxes are going to keep going up, but then our property values are going down. So, why is that? Why is it that, we're paying higher property taxes, but meanwhile your house is...
Yeah, and if I had that answer, I wouldn't be sitting here. In terms of property taxes, I think we're all feeling that as the new bills have shown up online. It's not really what the commissioners control. It kind of hits the auditor's office and at the state level. It's a different conversation. I know a lot of things have been passed recently at the state to try to offset some of the larger spikes. We'll see what kind of impact that has. And then, of course, there's a referendum likely going to hit the ballot in November to eliminate all property taxes. And if that's the case, then the conversation we're having today doesn't really matter anyway, because we're talking about property tax abatement. But in terms of property value like that, I wish I had the answer, because I have the same concerns. I mean, I think everybody in this room that's a homeowner or a property owner is feeling that squeeze.
Absolutely, and like on one of the lines, it's just right outside our door, literally, on our place. And so, how much of a negative impact is that going to have on our home?
Yeah.
And that's hard, like, are they we've heard that we're gonna be all bought out, and then, all of our homes, we have to go find out where to start over again. We've heard like where the road's gonna stop at our house, and then, they're gonna put it out there by the marina and put where the old road used to be. And it's just wondering, like, when are we going to find out exactly when it impacts us so much?
Agreed. And we're encouraging them as quickly as possible. I know that's not the answer, but that's the answer we have too, because we don't have that answer. Okay.
Thank you very much.
And I do, as we move through this, I know I'm the guy up here talking a lot, just the way we typically manage it. If you just ask a question, the chair answers. If you want a specific commissioner to answer, by all means, direct it to the specific commissioner.
Good morning. My name is John Holbrook, and I am the business manager for the Tri-State Building and Construction Trades Union Council. And like Bobby, I represent all the internationals and locals that would cover the work in that area. And first, I want to say thank you for the opportunity to speak. And secondly, I want to thank these commissioners for doing their due diligence on looking at the best scenario for data centers. As you said, they're not all the same. Some are much more environmentally impactful. Some of them are less, they care less about the communities they serve and where they build. And it sounds like you all have, without telling us who it is, you've done your due diligence, and we do appreciate that. Also, with total respect to everyone's opinion in this room, the people that live near it and people that have worries about their taxes, about the water, about their energy, total respect for that. And that's healthy fears. And as commissioners have stated, also address those fears with the developer, the owner, and thank you again for that. But I don't think, any of us really realize the economic impact that's going to have on the community. I mean, you're talking just from the build out. I know even with the tax abatement, and thank you for getting that pilot money. Thank you for getting more tax money than most any other area in New Albany, Columbus. We can go on and on. Virginia is a data center capital of the world. They're one of the largest states. But with that, there's going to be 1,000, 1,200 construction jobs. And if we just do round numbers, and let's just say they make 100,000 a year. Let's say they don't fast track it. You're talking $100 million flowing through there annually that is going to really affect this community. It's going to affect it in a positive manner. But it doesn't end there. It doesn't end with just those 50 permanent jobs, because when you're talking about 900 acres, and this being phase one, 500,000 square foot data center probably is going to take up, let's say it takes up 50 acres. There could be other development come to that site. It doesn't end with one job. This could be 10 to 15 years of opportunities for local area people to make a good life-sustaining living. It also opens the doors for these locals, and it opens the doors for more and more to make careers in the trades. These locals are actively, even before this, they're actively recruiting, but think about what an impact it would be on the youth of this area, the young adults, that they could just start with a career and possibly work 10, 15, 20 years in one location with pensions, health care, safe work sites, and we're also trying to grow, and we're even reaching out to people that have skill sets that might not be even apprentices, that want to join our ranks, that already have training and skills. They can come, we're welcoming them as well. So I definitely rise in support. I stand here and support this commission. I appreciate all your due diligence, and thank you for allowing, different comments. There's different opinions. There always are. At the end of the day, I think collectively we'll get to the right place. And I really appreciate you finding the right developer for that site. And I know you don't control the site. I'm sorry, I'm probably speaking out of turn a little bit, but you are, before you offer any abatement, you are making sure that what they tell you is true. By touring sites, you've been on their sites, and we appreciate that. And thank you for that. And again, I think as you've done the percentages, the community is getting a much better deal than any other community has demanded. So thank you for doing that.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Valerie. I am a resident of Scioto County and a homeowner here. I was born here and I'm now raising my family here. Today I'm here to voice my opposition to the proposed tax incentive. When we hear that $1 billion project is coming to our county, it's easy to envision a future where there's quality jobs for people and economic growth. But as you said, Mr. Powell, there's a real concern about the negative impact that this could have on our community. And so my question, and the negative impacts being reports of health complications, water and air pollution, noise pollution. How do we ensure that this data center won't inflict that harm on our county? And how do we ensure that the profits from this $1 billion project actually reach our community in a meaningful way? And how can we get behind the idea of the data center without the answers to these questions? How does the data center plan to cool itself and heat itself? Yeah, thank you.
There were several questions there.
Yes.
No, stay there. Oh, well, it's fine. The first was how can we ensure that they're doing what's
Not
right?
going to cause like a negative impact, the ones that we've heard reported in other communities.
No, understood. So part of that is why it was critical that we actually went and saw one of these things. I can tell you prior to that, I was very much on the fence. I think the company's well aware of that. So, but being able to tour, to see their sustainability efforts, to understand what they're doing, to talk with their team, it gave me comfort in seeing truly how this company operates. I can't speak to everybody else, but this specific one, and I think once they come public, people will be happy with the company. But that's how I got there. Unfortunately, I can't share that information with you today for you to get there as well. There are regulations around whether it's not the water and the water discharge, the treatment of that. So we have to trust in, really, it's not even the commissioners, it's the Ohio EPA or the federal EPA to make sure that any of that air or water possible pollution is being monitored very stringently. The company actually has more stringent expectations than even the standards, so that was important to us. So I hear the concerns. I had them, in all fairness. And I wish I could articulate it a little better in terms of what, in terms of what their exact plans are. Well, I can, unfortunately. So there's that piece. In terms of how can we ensure the money goes locally, that's why it was so important for us to get some language in there that they will be outreaching and talking to our local trades and our local craftsmen and really, quite frankly, union and non-union. It's local workforce. Another important part of our site visits is that we got to see all the IBEW stickers on the backs of the trucks, and we got local. so we drove very far away to see this, and then we're seeing local tags and local stickers to ensure that our men and women are not, I don't want to say sacrificing their families, because that's not the right way, but that time,
I think that you're
that
right
time,
in making that, 'cause
that
it's-
time with their families.
Right.
So how do we keep them here locally longer? Which is why we would consider a tax abatement to ensure that the construction continues versus a one and done type scenario. There's other questions there I know I didn't answer.
How does this data center plan to, I know that you have an NDA, but how does it plan to power itself? Are they going to use gas? Are they going to frack to get the gas?
Yeah, I know they've been working with the local utilities to come up with a plan. I can't, quite frankly, I don't have all of that detail, but I know they're working with the local utility for future planning. In terms of the cooling, it's a water-cooled system, and I'm dumbing that down so much. I'm sure there's a lot more technology.
It's like a closed loop, and they'll reuse their same water, they'll clean it.
Eventually it gets discharged because there is treatment prior to water leaving the site. So most of the really groundwater impact is anything coming from rainwater, but then everything else is being treated through their closed system.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for the question.
Hi, my name's Josh Ramey. Been to a few of these types of public meetings before, commissioners on the county level, city council on the city level, and usually a very routine, very boring. There may be 3 or 4 people here, but very few issues come along once in a while that brings out this type of crowd. This doesn't happen very often. So it's always good to see citizens get involved in the public process. But a couple concerning things, that if this issue is this important, that all of these fine people have come out today, but yet at the same time, you keep claiming an NDA. You can't even tell us the name of the company. So there's a disconnect. There's some not good governance that's going on there where an issue is this important. You can't even tell us the name of the company, and there's a lot of the details you can't tell us about. Not that you can do anything about it, but it just strikes me as this is not how this should work. Us, the public, should know at least the name of the company. That's the least of it. I know our public officials, you guys are doing the best due diligence that you can, but I also say public officials, I use that term in particular, not elected officials, because currently 2 of our 3 commissioners have been appointed. The system worked, these 2 seats were vacated for very different tragic reasons. And the appointment process worked, but if this issue is this important, should we not wait until an election in November to let the public speak to permanently fill these 2 seats, and then take on something that's this controversial that brings all these fine folks out? That just seems like a very logical thing that should happen, where the public can actually express themselves through the ballot box, through a general election in November, and then revisit this. And hopefully by this point we can actually know the name of the company. And I also have a couple questions if I haven't run through my time yet.
We're not even taking time.
Okay.
Maybe I should. I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't know.
The electric use is, I know this may fall under NDA or maybe too soon to answer some of these questions, but is there like any like guesstimates of like what the peak use of electric power would be? Like that's way too early for that.
Yep.
I think she just asked about the water cooling is a closed system. Or
They are cooling with water from the Ohio River through their cooling system. I don't. When you start talking about
treatment plant.
when you start talking about closed water,
That's kind of a misnomer.
well, I think eventually it has to cycle out. So when it's being cycled out, there is yet another treatment process before it is discharged, just like any other water treatment plant.
So who would be treating this? Just to be clear.
Let me make sure that they've given me the okay to say that.
These are the types of questions where the NDA, like us general public, should be access to this.
Yep.
I digress.
So in terms of the water, working collaboratively with the city and the county on the water.
So there's still not like specifically who would actually be
So
treating
typically
this?
we don't touch water systems.
Right.
The county doesn't. We do touch everything outside of really city of Portsmouth, the village of New Boston, and Otway. We do all of the other water treatment plants.
So has there been any like a consultation with the city of Portsmouth? Because I know that the city of Portsmouth current water plant is like way past its lifespan, and they're currently building that new plant.
So the water, once again, the water for the cooling is not going to touch the drinking water system for the county. So if they're doing treatment, it is a separate process that is isolated from the drinking water and even the plant sitting there in Portsmouth.
But it's still in the river, so I'm curious who will be doing the treatment before the water is discharged back in.
I believe that's us. I believe it's the county.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's like a 1,200 union, hopefully union construction jobs, which would be reduced to 50 permanent jobs. Is there any guesstimate of what the median salary of these 50 permanent jobs may be?
That's
Is there any
actually-
guarantee they'll also be local? Because I think someone said a lot of these IT jobs can be remote, like someone could be in
No,
Idaho
these
working
are
this.
local. Estimated annual payroll of $4 million. And I do want to point out that this is specific to the 500,000 square foot project. The way this incentive is written is the more they build, the incentive changes, it drops per square footage. So if it's only this one and done, it's 50. If they choose to expand even more, that starts multiplying. And that's just their 50. That's not counting any supportive services, security, lawn care, food service, any type of supportive services that they utilize. So their specific agreement is 50. It's not counting any of the ancillary jobs that'll be created at the
That's
same time.
what the salaries of some of these jobs would be like. There's no information on that.
80,000, I think. I think it's 80 if you do the
Okay.
math. 80 average of 80,000 a year.
Okay. And my last question, you kind of mentioned like the property is very competitive. I think you made that statement at some point or kind of implied that.
Yep.
If the property is so competitive, why the need for the tax abatement? Did this mystery company, did they say give us the tax abatement or we're not going to build?
No, it's not quite that simple. When any of these companies start looking at their portfolio of land, they're going to say, where does it make sense to continue to build? So I have an abatement over here and I already own the land, or I have the abatement over here, or I don't have an abatement over here and I already own the land. Let's assume those things are true. Well, the next time they're going to build, where's it more beneficial to build? So that's one reason you would look at an abatement to ensure, once again, they continue to build and utilize the site to keep our local workers here and to kind of extend out the construction phase as long as possible. So that's why you would consider that. Plus, it also helps offset some of the public infrastructure costs that could be associated with the project as well.
One other thing.
Go ahead.
You asked about the abatement with basically why would we give them an abatement when there's somebody else standing in line? Is what your question was, right? Basically, and if we don't give them one, then the next person, well, talking and being around all of these data centers, every one of them wants an abatement.
Right.
Every one of them. So, if somebody's gonna come in and somebody's gonna build a data center, they're gonna want an abatement. So, which is the best, once again, that we can deal with in looking at these companies and it's kind of where we made the decision. Who's the best company we can deal with, because they're all gonna want abatements. Or sooner or later you could say, we're not gonna give anybody abatement and the land stands vacant.
I guess the way I phrase my question that really gets to my point. If this abatement would be voted down in a few weeks, do you think this project would still continue, or do you think that would be a deal killer for this?
Personally, I don't think it's a deal killer, and here's why. When and I'm not speaking for the company, this is just my own belief. When these data centers in general start looking for sites, it's two primary things. It's capacity for electric, capacity for water. So I don't think they showed up in Scioto County and said, I want to build a data center in Scioto County. I think they tracked the transmission lines and said, okay, there's power there. By the way, there's a huge thing of water here. In fact, there was a previous data center, the one that actually wants the land that can't get it. They approached me for that same reason. Hey, we were tracking this electric line. Hey, we understand this. How do we get this land? So it's not a Scioto County thing. I heard somebody say, well, they just want to take advantage of Appalachia. Actually, some of the biggest data centers are up in the richest zip code in Ohio, up in New Albany, surrounding Columbus. So I don't view it, and I've been sitting with this for 6-7 months now. I don't view it as hey, I want to go into this poor area and build something and take advantage of the people. I can understand why people would believe that. It's truly a resource. Where can I go that has land that the cost of entry for water and electric are not so great that I can now build this thing? So I think we'll see more and more of these probably up and down the river, specifically for water usage. I know the ones that are kind of internally in the state, they're starting to run into water issues because they're tapping into the other systems. Here we have a resource that runs by us every day. So once again, it's my own belief. It has nothing to do with this specific project.
So it sounds like they would be very interested in this property with or without a tax abatement.
Yeah, so then the question is whether or not do they buy it and sit on it? Do they build on it? Are we now a partner? Are we not? Are we now able to make sure we're engaging in different things? Are we in the room when they're discussing the very real issues that everybody in this room has? Or do we just cross our arms and say, well, I guess we'll deal with them?
Have you asked the company, like, what happens if we vote this no? Have you directly asked them?
I can't speak to that, but I have a very good belief of where it would go. And once again, it's a resource question more so than anything else.
I mean, if the mystery answer is they would still build it anyway, I would encourage you to vote no against the tax abatement if they're going to build it anyway.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Molly Skaggs, and I'm a resident of Scioto County. I wrote out this big, long thing for you guys, but we've covered a lot of these topics, so I'm going to be quick. I just want everyone to know that big tech companies promise a brighter future for small communities. However, the only guarantee is that their financial success will come at the expense of our people. Our natural resources, infrastructure, and everyday life will pay a toll so their profits can increase. A data center cannot benefit our society without doing greater harm to our environment and community. We've already kind of covered a lot of those things today, and I'm sure everyone here in the news has seen that this often leads to higher energy costs, less reliable power grids, strains on infrastructure, contaminated waterways. This is not the environment that I want for the people of Scioto County, and I think a lot of people feel like that in this room today. We need to think about the long-term impacts of this decision. Technology changes fast, and the autonomy of AI is a hidden risk within this decision. What will happen after our people make sacrifices to construct this data center? Where will our people be left then? The high-paying jobs being promised will not compensate our community fairly for the sacrifices that we will make. Nor will we see a fair return on the profits that they make from our sacrifices. You know, I'm gonna skip the rest of what I wrote because I really just have one question after hearing you speak this morning. And where was the transparency before you did the walkthrough with the company and you signed the NDA? You know, where,
No.
I never heard anything about this until
And the
maybe
NDA is
yesterday.
the reason why. So I appreciate the ability to speak to that. So before I even knew what the project was, before I even knew what the company was, before I even knew some of these people's last names, I signed an NDA. That was last year. The earliest we could speak about this was yesterday.
Yeah.
Because we put a public document out to the school systems. And it was important to me and this board that as soon as we could put something out, please notify everybody. The reality was we could have sent the notice to the schools, waited till the 22nd and voted. We could have done that. There's no requirement that we do a public hearing. There's no requirement that we told anybody that we were doing this. I didn't feel right about that, and I know these gentlemen didn't either. But the system is that we notify the schools, they have 14 days to give us some comments, and then we have the ability to vote after that 14-day period.
Okay.
So the earliest we could actually even notify anybody was yesterday. And quite frankly, the news hit, I think 8:30, right after an 8 o'clock meeting that Merritt had with the school district and the township. I don't enjoy the NDAs either. It feels like it ties our hand, but at the same time, when we start talking about economic development in general, this is not a new phenomenon. NDAs are all over economic development because some of these companies want to keep their business as private as long as possible as they're trying to even figure out if it's feasible or not. I've been under NDAs on other projects that have never happened. Well, once again, why, so that's unfortunately part of it. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good sitting in front of you, not being able to tell you.
Sneaky.
I understand.
Yeah,
I understand.
sneaky.
No, I understand. And especially I'm well aware of the reputation this board has.
Yep.
So, well aware of that, which is all the more reason why we wanted this information out as quickly as possible and why we didn't just wait until January 22nd, put it on our agenda and vote. Because I did want to allow the public to understand what was going on so we could talk about it. And I appreciate everybody showing up to do just that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak. My name is Abby Spears, and I'm
Hi,
a resident
Abby.
of Scioto County. A lot has been discussed here today, and I think that to kind of piggyback off what Holly was just saying, at the end of the day, you are our elected representatives, which means that you fight for the best interest of us as individuals. In signing an NDA, it doesn't really feel like you are standing up for the community, nor does it feel like you're fighting for the transparency that is due us as the citizens of this community. And, ultimately that is very challenging. How are we supposed to trust, this company? Because it feels very disingenuous to say that they want to do right by us when they won't even provide their information so that we can find out more.
Sure.
I mean, you've toured their facilities, and they're going to present a wonderful perspective to you. What about the communities that surround them? What about the citizens that live there? I would like to know what their feedback is. I would like to know what the impact has been on their lives. Because ultimately, this entire process feels disingenuous. To hide behind an NDA means that you don't want to face the public. It means that you don't want to answer our questions, which we are right to ask. So, I think ultimately too, my other question is around the tax abatement. I mean, given the fiscal concerns of the county, how can we knowingly enter into a tax abatement, especially knowing that we are going to have financial needs?
Sure. So in terms of the tax abatement, once again, it's whether or not we want to incentivize the company to continue to build, to keep money locally versus sending our people to Columbus and to feed their economy on the backs of our people. So that's why we would consider a tax abatement. At least that's my take on it. Gentlemen, I don't know if you guys want to add anything to that, but
Can I ask
understand.
you?
Yeah, you
in
can
regard
follow
to
up,
that,
sure.
What kind of, I mean, given the NDA, given how little we're able to actually know,
Yeah.
what is the actual physical guarantee that they're going to use local labor? What kind of like written obligation have they provided to us saying that we want to specifically contract with the folks in our areas? I
Yeah.
mean,
So specifically to the CRA that we're considering, there's labor language in there that they'll work with them in a good faith effort. They'll provide us reporting so we can know, are they following through or are they not? There'll be full transparency on their engagement with our locals.
but I mean, that's a little after the fact though, isn't it?
Well, and I agree, I would agree with you to a point, except for the fact that when we did the site visit, every truck in the parking lot was a union truck.
I mean, and that's fine, but,
So-
you know, I mean, we talk about the fact that, like, they were brought laborers from our area, other areas, things like that. I mean, I'm assuming that they had their own local laborers as well.
I'm sure some of these guys can speak to
I mean, and
who
that's
all's
fine.
been
They
going,
may
who
know
all's
better
been
than I
going
do.
out of the area to work on these. But you're right, like, you know, is an IBEW sticker from Portsmouth, or, I mean, I saw both.
Yeah.
I saw it all over. The question is, at 1,200 construction workers, are there going to be some people traveling into Scioto County to work? I'm looking at the trades guys, yeah, I mean, unless we fully ramp up and have everybody as a Scioto County, but the reality is, like, part of that is them recruiting and getting people trained up and going, but of the people currently in the system, I would fully expect that they would be shifted home. And I don't know how you guys do all of that, but, yeah.
Some of that money would still stay here, Scott.
Yep.
Even if there's travelers in the area, and they would be spending a lot of money.
For sure. Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, appreciate it.
Hey guys,
How are you, sir?
doing good. I'm Jared Timberlake. I'm a resident of Franklin Furnace and a pastor here in Scioto County. And I can consider myself to be sort of a community leader in the Furnace and in the area. And just wanted to share some thoughts today that, you know, Franklin Furnace is a geological and geographical gold mine. It's rich in history and pride, full of hardworking people that love their community and intelligent people. And I've lived there for many years now and have fallen in love with the community. And today there's a lot of people with some strong opinions around our community. You see it all over Facebook and everything. And today I had the intention of coming in here and just kind of standing in the corner all day and not really putting myself out there. But I feel like I am a voice for our community in Franklin Furnace. And today, I just want to request that the people of Franklin Furnace have a chance to be heard. And I think this is a wonderful opportunity that we get to come and speak in a meeting like this. And I know that it's scheduled every week. People know when it is, but it's not necessarily a convenient time for a whole community to be heard. So I know our township trustees are getting asked a lot of questions, and our school board's being asked a lot of questions, and I want people to know that you know, even they don't have the full understanding of everything going on. So I just respectfully request that before this vote takes place, that you would take some time, set aside a date and an evening where you can come to Franklin Furnace, where we have wonderful people, and allow our community to be able to ask the same kind of questions and voice their concerns. With something this big, I do believe that the community that it directly impacts deserves to be heard. And as a member and a leader in that community, I just respectfully request that you would set a time, some time to come to Franklin Furnace in an evening and talk to our community about what's going on. Thank you.
And Jared, I appreciate that request, and we'll check calendars and see if we can't make something happen there.
Travis McNeilin, West Portsmouth. I had 3 questions. First question, do you have a dollar number on how much of a tax break this would be if you guys did vote yes on this?
Not in the CRA agreement. What I can speak specific to the agreement is the percentage and the pilot. So not actually spelled out in this agreement. So I won't be able to speak to that. And it's really going to determine how the auditor would, kind of how it gets appraised and how it gets assessed. But so not specific to this agreement that I could speak toward.
Okay. So the question is, I want to reel it in because I know you guys are just voting on whether to do the tax abatement or not in 2 weeks. So the next question then would be, if unofficially, I'll address each one of you individually, if the vote happened today, I assume all of you are voting yes on this current thing that's being proposed? On an unofficial thing?
I mean, I'll speak for myself, and I said it on the radio. I've lived with this and researched it, and I'm fully supportive of the project. Whether the other gentlemen are comfortable answering at this point is truly up to them. But as we sit here today, just because of how long I've been researching this and how long I've been spending with this company, I'm fully supportive of this project.
If the vote were today, I would vote yes.
You would also vote yes. Would you also vote yes?
Yeah, unless something drastically would change between now and then, yes. Because once again, I've been with Scotty pretty much through most of the project and through all he knew about it, but when we actually started working on it, I've been with him through that. And with the research we've done and with what the other expectations are, yes, I'd vote yes.
Okay. Then my final question is, I saw you, because of course the NDA thing causes it causes a big headache.
Yep.
I saw you flipping through something. Do you have something you can provide to the public that is everything you're allowed to say?
If I can, I'll release it. Okay. So I don't know if it's currently
every single possible thing. That would really help you all.
Yeah, I generally don't know if it's protected or not, so I'll double check and I'll get an answer probably within the week.
Okay, that's all I have.
No, great question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Jody Armstrong. I'm the superintendent of Green Local Schools and a lifelong resident of Green Township. It is tough to follow those last 2 gentlemen. They were so eloquent. Thank you for your comments and for supporting Franklin Furnace and our community, Jared. I look forward, like a lot of you, to find the answers to environmental questions and things just like the concerns that have been expressed. And once the non-disclosure agreement is released, I know we'll get a lot of those answers. But my specific question, very selfishly, is for revenue for the Green Local School District. And of course, that affects anyone else who's involved in that tax collection, which would be our township and trustees, I should clarify. So assuming that this would go forward with the 75% abatement, my question really relies on that remaining 25% that would be taxed.
Yeah.
And I want to be sure that my understanding of what I received yesterday morning is clear, because we do have an opportunity to provide some comment as a part of the school district. My understanding is that as the property sits right now, it is agricultural property, which is a different tax rate anyway. Is that correct?
That's my understanding.
Yes, mine as well. CAUV, and to the gentleman's point earlier, current agricultural usage value, I believe, so it's a reduced rate. So for that would be the current property tax rate. Once this is complete, let's just go ahead to the future and just assume that it's coming, or something similar. That remaining 25% that would be taxed would no longer be taxed at a CAUV rate. Is that correct?
That's my understanding. The entire property would be reevaluated.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so the 25% that would be collected would be on that reappraised rate.
And then the building.
Yes.
Yeah.
So is there any kind of comparison as far as revenue that would generate for the township?
Yeah.
As far as a comparison, what we're getting right now, sitting empty at a CAUV rate, versus the 25% at the reappraised rate,
yeah.
And what that difference is, just in terms of I hope I'm speaking.
No, I understand.
Clearly enough
So
to-
essentially, what's the estimated
Is it clear?
what's the estimated revenue and compared to what you're currently getting?
Perfect, thank you.
Well, so we've seen scenarios, once again, it's based on estimates, not on the actual appraised value once everything's done. Well, I'll see if I can get something that we can release.
Tough to get a specific number, it's really impossible.
And just so everybody's aware, that remaining 25% is then allocated accordingly to the percentages of how property taxes get divided up. So it is the school, it is the township, it's also DD, it's also children's services, and whatever those percentages hit. Jody, let me see if I can get something to share with that.
Yeah, that's just a matter of, I know the intent is not to have any impact as far as what we're receiving now, it should never be any lower.
Right.
That's,
And-
I know that's the intent.
Yeah,
I just wanted to.
With some of the stuff we talked about early on, they threw out some estimates, and I don't remember what they were. But the estimates of what they threw out, and that is just, because we don't know what the auditor's going to appraise it at or what the building's be appraised at. But the estimates that were threw out were, the 25% was far higher than what comes on just farmland.
Yeah.
So the 25% that you would get from that would be higher than what you would get from just the farmland that you're getting now. Now, I don't know what that number is, but what they threw out there at that time said yes. So based on that, from this point, you will never get any less than what you're getting now as far as amount of money. Percentages be different, but the amount of money would more than likely go up, not go down.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thanks for your time.
Appreciate the opportunity and everyone who's come out today. It's really nice to see such interest and people who take an active part in local government. Thank you all very much, and thank you for letting me be heard.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Cassie Hamilton. I was actually watching on Facebook Live from work, and I rushed over here because I just felt like I needed to, just watching everything. I live here in Scioto County. I live in Wheelersburg. My first question is, what law allows and protects you all to sign an NDA? Because from what I've researched under the Ohio Public Records Act and the Open Meeting Acts, politicians and public officials are generally not allowed to sign NDAs. That would override their transparency duties. So
you want the specific ORC? I can get that. I can have our
I
attorneys
just
get
want to
that.
know, I guess, how are you able to do your duty for us people if you're signing NDAs for privatized tech companies?
So it's NDA regarding the information. We haven't taken any public action or public consideration. That's what we're doing here today. But I can get the very specific law to you. Like we have, to the point we actually, through the prosecutor's office, got special attorneys specific for this project, Bricker Graydon.
So you wanted to make sure all your boxes were checked?
Yeah,
to make sure you weren't
I mean,
allowed
there
to
was,
tell us
people looked at
anything?
these NDAs. So.
Okay, and then why would you sign an NDA without knowing what the NDA was about? Like, how do you know this wasn't to bring a heroin factory to Portsmouth or to Scioto County?
Well, but
Just
once we
signed
were
it?
told it was a heroin factory, we would have a different decision to make.
But you would have already signed the NDA.
The NDA is only to get information. So it's not to take action, it's for them to share information with us that if at a later date we're asked to take action or
So
we're
kind of
asked
like
to
I
do
can only tell
something.
you a secret if you promise to keep it a secret?
Well, it's not a promise, it's a legally binding document that we
Okay.
can't share, yeah.
And the water, I know you say you're not sure where the contaminated water is going to go, but if, I know you mentioned that they're interested in building along the Ohio River because of the river.
Yeah.
How are we going to be able to protect, I mean, how do we know they're not gonna run the river dry or ruin any ecosystems or anything like that?
Yeah, so be clear, I didn't know where the contaminated water was going. The way the system will work is that it would come in, it would be treated, it would be used for cooling for however long, and then eventually it would go through a treatment process, just like any other treatment process, whether it's from your own house. We have multiple treatment centers across the county that have to meet EPA standards and environmental standards before a discharge would happen.
So do they have a plan to protect the river? I mean, I know it's the Ohio River, I know it's not,
Understood.
but still not running the river dry, because if we're going to have two of them, it's going to be close to the one they're building in Lawrence County, correct?
I can't speak to Lawrence County. It's, once again, when you start lumping the term data center altogether, I don't think it's even close to a comparison in terms of size. Theirs is a training center. I think there's probably some data servers there. I don't know how large it is.
Okay.
I'm not even sure of their cooling process. So once again, that's the problem of trying to just lump the title with. And the same thing when we're looking at companies, it's hard to just say, well, we're going to lump all data center companies together too, because they all have drastically different how they operate.
So what is this data centers, I mean, like, I'm assuming just AI?
Don't know.
Okay, because for most of what I've seen AI be used for, it's for making pictures of people and Christmas and posting on Facebook.
I told Merritt to stop it, and he just.
I mean, like, I know my job is trying to use some AI. I know
This is actually an AI-generated person sitting here.
AI-generated commissioner.
Right,
Yeah.
but for the most part of what
Understood.
I see, it's ridiculous stuff that people are using, and then if they're using it to ask stupid questions that they could open a book or Google
Yeah, so I
answer
don't
to.
I don't know if the company's ever told us exactly what the data is. I mean, the reality is, just in general, not specific to the company, if you're using technology, it lives somewhere. If you're using cloud services, it lives somewhere.
Right.
So there could be parts of it that are AI, there could be parts of it that's banking, there could be parts of it, like, I genuinely don't know.
And I guess I'm just confused
So once
too,
it
because
starts getting all lumped together too.
how we're gonna make an AI or a data center when most people here don't even have like decent high-speed internet? And like we have patchy cell phone service
That's
in most areas, like.
It's funny you say that. We asked the same question. And hopefully I can't say it.
I mean, does that mean that we would, I mean, at least one benefit for the people would get better internet, better service, better reliability?
Sure. No, I understand the question.
Yeah. When we were in Columbus, I asked that question very specifically. I said, okay, you're putting the most technologically advanced system in our county, and we've got people up the hollow that don't have internet and can't get it.
Yeah.
And basically their response was, well, that's possibly something we could look into as a community service project to try to work on some of that. But that's, I mean, you know, that has nothing to do with what we're doing here. It's just
Right,
something.
I understand.
But I felt like people would ask that question.
You got it.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I
I
asked
mean,
that question.
When my phone drops because I'm driving through Haver Hill and, you know, it's like, oh, you don't have any service, you can't
Yeah.
even listen to the song. So, I was a little confused about that, but.
Sure.
Do they have a plan on the benefits that they can offer the people of Scioto County? Like, what is this, other than the 1,200 jobs?
Yep.
And as a daughter of a construction worker, my dad drove 2 hours one way to work
Yep.
for a long time. He worked out of state for years. Once the center's built, you know, say you give it 2 or 3 years to build the center, then what are those 1,200 people gonna do after that? Have to relocate
that's
again out of town?
Well, in terms of the construction workers, I think that they're probably used to that. The question is, how long can we keep them here, right here at home? The other part of that is the community. Do they have additional community commitments? Historically, we see that with some of the data centers is that they also do community outreach. They also do different things. So I would fully expect that we would see something like that in this scenario as well.
Okay, I think that's all I have for now, so thank you.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
My name is Joe Dillo. I'm the business manager of IBEW Local Union 575. We fully support the efforts of this data center moving forward. Just to kind of help clear up some of the answers that people have had, there is a lot of day two work that goes into these. You know, everybody knows everybody's technology is constantly changing. Phones are upgrading, computers are upgrading. These data centers will do the same thing. So there'll be continuous work on these facilities. We invite everybody to apply to our apprenticeship programs. If you're a skills trademan already, come join us. We're going to need people to help build these facilities. You know, I'm sick and tired of seeing people drive to Columbus or Lexington or Cincinnati, and we got these people that are outraged over something that's going to bring great jobs to this community. We don't hear no outrage about the scandalous rehab facilities in town. You know, we got something that can bring real jobs, real future for our kids and the people who work here. We got, you know, somebody questions the wages that our folks make. It's not false. We have apprentices who have made over $100,000 a year, who have put tens of thousands of dollars into their annuities or their pensions each year. They have family provided or employer provided family health insurance. So I encourage everybody. I mean, we're going to need folks to help build this facility. Hopefully it expands. Hopefully this attracts more business to this area. I mean, you got 1,000 acres up there sitting empty that provides no taxes. I know there's issues with it coming to people's community, but think of the good that it can do for our area. Think of, instead of worrying about where your kids are going to move to when they graduate from high school, join a career, join the trades, get a great career, get an IT degree, expand your horizon a little bit. This is a great opportunity for this community. The IBW and the Building Trades Support.
Thank you, Joe.
I want to address something that the last lady said. Okay. Before we go on, I want to address something that the last lady said, which kind of ties in with what was just said here. While we were up there, she asked where, you know, who's going to be using this information. And while we were touring the site, there was a completely different building built on the site for one company that was using a whole building of their storage. So there was, you know, it created another situation where another building was built that had nothing to do with the AI thing, except these people were the people that were using their stuff. So yeah, who's going to be using it? There may be another company move in right next door that puts up a new building and puts up a new thing just to be able to use that storage system that they have there.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, are you at liberty to say if this is the first data center installation for this corporation?
Is it the first data center? I mean, since we said we toured it, I think we're safe to say that it is not. It's not the first. Once again, it is a Fortune 100 tech company. That I'm allowed to share that. But so yeah, this would not be the first. They were able to point us to very specific examples throughout the country. Once again, we were able to see an operation. So, and that's how personally I think Merritt shared how we got to a comfort level specifically with this company. It was the valuable time we spent with them to truly see.
So you've been in touch with other communities that this that Corporation X has been involved with?
Yeah, I've been researching the other communities, yes.
And have they delivered what they promised?
And can actually, the frustrating part about that is the document is typically a very conservative estimate. They've actually over-delivered in the other communities they've been in.
And you checked into what those communities have as an attitude toward this part of their addition?
I have. This specific company, I haven't heard any major concerns with them.
Might be good to look at that.
Agreed.
Might there also be independent consultation available to you to not just take carte blanche what company X tells you in terms of projections and capacities and multiple impacts?
Yeah, that's a great question. So in working, and the reason we got outside counsel specifically to this project, they specialize in doing a lot of these deals with a lot of different data centers, so they're very attuned to the different operators and what they do and what they don't do, so they were able to provide us some very valuable insight as we move through the project.
That's reassuring. Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, in addressing the community, it just so happens that the data center that we toured, I have a relative that lives just like within a few blocks of where this is. And so without telling them anything, I sat down at lunch with them in Columbus one day and said, could you tell me a little bit about your neighbor. What's going on there? They said, oh, they've been great. They said, they said, we really had concerns when they came in that this was going to be a problem. And I'd never at any point told them that I'd been in and toured the facility and we were looking at it down here. But they went through the whole thing and they said, yes, there had been, concerns up front. And probably the biggest concern that they had was the traffic buildup from the construction when they were coming in and out. And they said that's probably the biggest thing that we've had a problem with. It's not been anything to do with the facility. And this facility was operating what?
Yep.
3 buildings at the time?
I don't know.
So, anyway. I probably shouldn't have said that. But that's okay.
It is what it is. That's the risk when we operate like this, right?
Hi, so I have a question. So if this company is if you think it's so great that it's gonna bring so many jobs and it's gonna help the area, why do we need to use a tax abatement as an incentive for them to stay here and stuff? Because I understand that's what you were saying before, but then also that's a lot of money that the community could be using. So, and that's very desired land. That's very good land that other companies want too. So I don't understand why do you need to incentivize them with a tax abatement?
Yeah, so it's a good question and something I've looked at. It's the question of whether or not you incentivize somebody to keep building, or they look at their portfolio and say, hey, we're one and done here, and just let it sit. So is the trade-off of tax money versus additional, and however long we can keep 1,200 construction workers employed. I think you heard some math there. If everybody's making 100,000, do you keep that money? Do you forego some taxes to keep local development moving? So in my head, that's the math problem. Is the tax is the property tax abated? Yes, but the trade-off is all the local labor, local wages that stay in the community longer.
Would you consider making the tax abatement less? Let's say instead of them only paying 25%, would you maybe by seeing all this public opinion against this I guess tax abatement, would you change that? Would you consider making them pay maybe 50% or?
So when you look at the 25% plus the pilot, the real abatement value is in the 50s. If you look anywhere else in the state, they're getting 60 to 70%. So this is actually probably one of the best deals in the state in terms of the abatement. When you look at the 25% plus. So I'm looking at the effective tax rate. So if you just take their tax bill and here's everything we get and do a percentage. So it's it's in the 50, and that moves depending on how much they build. So it's already in that 50 percentile range.
Thank you for your answer.
Thank you.
How close it's allowed to be to homes?
I don't. We can, how close to homes?
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be something that would be very much of interest to us from Roxbury.
Okay. We got to phone a friend? That's fine.
Apparently.
That's all right.
Hi, my name is Eric. I live in the county.
Hi,
I
Eric.
work in the technology sector.
Yeah.
I'm a software engineer and work with AI. Most people would think that maybe I'm excited about a data center coming to the area, but I'm somewhat skeptical for the reasons that everyone else listed. You mentioned that the average salary based on the payroll would be around $80,000. For a Fortune 100 company, you should be pushing them to raise the bar higher. That is a low wage. I work remotely, and my salary is much higher than that. They can do better for Scioto County. Secondly, how many people in Scioto County are qualified to work at the data center once it is built? Has there been a study done to see if it's even something that our people in the surrounding region are qualified to do?
Yes, that's a good question. The reality is they train all their own people because the skill set is so specific to what they need. So I fully expect that we'll see training programs pop up. one of the individuals we spoke to was less concerned with credentials and more concerned with capability of learning their processes and how they do things. So actually, there'll be folks without credentials that go through a training program that will immediately go into one of these jobs.
All right, so the pilot program in lieu of taxation.
Yeah.
So if a person or business does not pay their taxes, there's some legal recourse that the government can do, correct?
Yeah.
What legal recourse do we have if the company reneges on the pilot program and does not pay out the $500,000 per year?
Yeah, that's all spelled out in here. There's a reversion clause that's actually in the CRA agreement. So like they're once again, it's a legal document. If they don't follow through, then there's legal ramifications.
And will that document be available to the public?
It's a public record. We can put it out. If we can put it in a PDF, I'll post it on our Facebook page.
All right, thank you for that.
Yeah.
And I think I have one more thing. Sorry, I have multiple pages of notes. Oh, when you toured the facility, you said that you brought consultation with you. Is the hiring of the consultants public record, and are you able to release what firms you interacted with?
It's Bricker Graydon. Our legal team is Bricker Graydon. We brought them on board last year. So we can't, and also it's just a procedural thing. Anytime we seek outside counsel, our prosecutor is actually the one that has to bless that. And this is a very specific type of law, a very specific type of practice. So it was on his recommendation and that we sought outside counsel. So it's Bricker Graydon. It's a law firm in Columbus.
Less so on the law firm, but more on the subject matter experts that...
They have subject matter experts specific.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Thank you for your time today.
No, I appreciate you. Thank you. Hi.
My name is Sophia Martinez. I wanted to express my frustration about the timeline of this. So this is a 15-year tax abatement period, and most data centers only survive to be 10 to 15 years. And we're looking at 2 to 3 years of construction jobs. And you've had months to sit with this. Well, people here have not had months to sit with this. This is a billion-dollar company, and many people here will live past 10 to 15 years and never see $1 billion in their lifetimes. So is it possible to postpone this project at all?
Postpone the project. Once again, we don't control private development. What we could control is whether or not we're going to move forward with a vote on the 22nd. But in terms of the project itself, we have zero control over the project itself.
And for a follow-up question, what role will future commissioners have over the years in this?
What role will what? I'm sorry?
What role will future commissioners have, like in relation, because I believe you've signed an NDA and you've had contact with this company over the past few months.
Sure.
What role will future commissioners have with this company?
Well, I'm hopeful as soon as all of this is public, our NDA expires, and then the local, 10 years from now when I'm not sitting here, the other commissioner's job will be to interact with the company and try to maintain a good relationship and making sure that they're still following through on their promise. The legal document is what locks them into the tax abatement, the payments. So, we'll be relying on the treasurer to collect that and the auditor to do the appraisals. So it's multifunction, but the legal document, whether we're sitting here or not, will kind of dictate at least the tax abatement part of it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other? All right, that's fine. Because we still have a whole agenda of stuff.
Yeah.
Which is fine, yeah.
We haven't done a meeting yet.
I have one question. Do you know if this company, are you allowed to tell us, are they United States based or is this a foreign entity?
I don't know that I can even say that. I'll find out if I can say
Just
that.
curious with security reasons and AI and all that. If this
Understood.
is- Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? You're more than welcome to stay.
Or you're more than welcome to leave.
You're more than, thank you. No, appreciate it. But we're gonna.
I won't come to meetings if I'm
Okay. I'm trying to get out to see all of them. I just haven't got there yet.
Thank you. Thank you for coming by. Yeah.
Hey. Hey, bud.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Next public execution.
No one staying? No one? No.
Thank you, sir, very much.
Thanks, Jody.
We're actually still live. We'll connect. So we still have a meeting where we haven't even got to the meeting yet. No, go ahead. What is it?
We looked at doing a community liaison as part of this, so that way you have someone that can function as like a go-between between.
So that'll be the economic development system once it's fully stood up. So, I mean, unfortunately, we don't have economic development, so that's a lot of this is falling on me, which is kind of, yeah.
Well, just because I think that would be nice to have somebody that can communicate back and forth between the entity.
Understood.
And
Completely understand.
I was telling
Thanks for coming by.
have a meeting at night. We know where you stand right now on the abatement.
Sure.
But if more people could be heard, we would feel a whole lot better
Understood.
when you vote for it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Understand that.
I mean, there's not going to be any health or environmental impact assessment done on this. So, you know, at least have a meeting at night.
All right, Lori.
But we've definitely got that on our list.
Good.
Thank you all. No,
Nobody stays.
We're still alive.
I'm gonna get. We're still live. I'm gonna get a complex. Now we have a meeting with nobody, but that's all right. Anybody,
Here you go.
anybody can stay. We're still in a live meeting. With that, I'm gonna get to approving the meeting minutes of December 18th.
And I'll make a motion, we approve those minutes.
And I will second that.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of request for appropriation of funds,
Any comments or questions on our appropriation requests? Hearing none.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I have second.
Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of request for appropriation of transfer of funds,
Any comments or questions on our transfers?
Make a motion, we approve.
I second.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of approving payment of the regular schedule of accounts for various funds, moral obligations, and then the now certificates, and the total amount of $502,132.10.
Any comments or questions on item 4? Hearing none?
I'll make the motion to approve.
Second.
Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of accepting miscellaneous reports,
Comments or questions on miscellaneous reports?
Make a motion, we accept.
I second.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of request to attend meetings,
Any comments or questions on our request to attend meetings?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of request for fund transfers,
Any comments or questions on fund transfers?
Make a motion, we approve the fund transfers.
I second.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of contract between the Scioto County Tuberculosis Clinic and SOMC Infectious Disease Associates,
So this is a contract between the Scioto County Tuberculosis Clinic and SMC Infectious Disease Associates effective January 1, 2026 through December 31st, 2026 for initial consultation, diagnosis, and treatment, follow-up visits as needed, consult with Scioto County tuberculosis nurse regarding referred patients as needed.
I make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Mr.
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of 2025 county highway system mileage certification sheet for Scioto County roads regarding the engineer.
So gentlemen, every year we will certify the county highway system in terms of the amount of miles. The centerline miles for county roads are 411.081 miles. And the engineer, of course, agrees with this. This all falls under engineer Darren LeBrun. He does a fantastic job at maintaining all 411 miles, and we appreciate his hard work. Any comments or questions?
I make a motion we approve.
I second.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Walt?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of resolution authorizing the county engineer to employ labor and proceed in the maintenance and repair of roads, bridges, and culverts in Scioto County, Ohio regarding year 2026.
Any comments or questions on item 10?
I make a motion to adopt.
I'll second.
Mr. Walt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of notice of award for Raritan Daily Bread renovation project regarding the CDBG grant.
You may recall that we had a bid opening for the Raritan Daily Bread. This is a building renovation project to help finish out the building out there in Raritan for them to operate. With recommendation of our grant consultant Mary Oakley from CDC Ohio at the bid amount of $404,095 minus 5 alternate deductions, with the total amount of an awarded being $278,648, with $240,100 coming from the grant, and Raritan Daily Bread is committed to providing the other $38,548. This is a total of $278,648 for this project. I just want to mention just how proud I am of this organization. I don't know if you guys are aware, Raritan Daily Bread sits out in Raritan. They provide hot meals for free to people that need it every day out there in Raritan. I think it's in the evenings. They typically serve anywhere from 125 to 150 meals. So they do a fantastic job out there. They kind of exist under the radar, and we've been able to help them over the past couple years. One, to acquire a building to get them out of the Raritan Community Center, and then of course now to help with this grant to renovate that building. Any comments or questions?
I make a motion to approve.
I second.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Walt?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of change order number 2 for the Scioto County engineer regarding the 2025 hot mix materials.
Any comments or questions on the change order for hot mix? Hearing none.
I make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mr. Walt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of equitable sharing agreement and certification between the Scioto County Prosecutor's Office and the U.S. Department of Justice regarding year 2025.
This is just the equitable sharing agreement between the prosecutor's office, and it is with the Department of Justice. Any comments or questions?
I make a motion we approve the.
I second.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Walt?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of resolution adopting the updated Scioto County all-natural hazard mitigation plan.
This is from our Scioto County EMA regarding our hazard mitigation plan. Appreciate Larry Mullins, Director of EMA, and all of his hard work on this plan to ensure that should something happen that we are ready. Any comments or questions? Hearing none.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I will second.
To adopt.
Oh, that's adopt. Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt.
I'll still second.
Motion to adopt.
Thank you.
Mr. Walt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of agreement between Microsoft Corporation and the Board of Scioto County Commissioners regarding licensing.
This is our licensing agreement with Microsoft. Any comments or questions?
Is this this is a situation where we didn't have the license to do some work, and another provider provided us that license, and we have to pay them back for that license.
Yep.
So that's what this is about. And I'll make a motion to approve.
I second.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Walt?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter matter of request for payment to the city of Portsmouth for prosecutor, clerk, and bailiff salaries regarding municipal court.
Something we do every year regarding municipal court prosecutor salaries. The total for 2025 was $43,839.48. Any comments or questions?
I make a motion to approve.
I will second.
Also.
There's another one, yep.
Yeah, was the.
Which is also the bailiffs. Total amount of our share is $87,316.91. Thank you for that.
Mr. Walt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of accepting 2025 inventories,
Gentlemen, this is something new you'll see, and you'll only see it probably for a couple months. Every year, each department, each office holder will submit to us inventories of all the equipment, chairs, desks, literally any physical item to this board as their inventory. So we'll see these now over the next probably several weeks. Any comments or questions?
I will make a motion to accept the inventories.
I'll second.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Walt?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of notice to legislative authority from the Ohio Department of Commerce, Division of Liquor Control regarding Lucasville Cash Stop Incorporated.
All right. Any comments or questions on item 18?
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mr. Walt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of notification from the Ohio Department of Taxation regarding permissive sales tax.
All right, this is a notification for October 2025. Sales local, $915,630.60. It was actual $457,774.71. Total, $1,373,405.31. This amount is $105,111.61 more than that of October 2024. It's good that we continue to see some increases year over year, but also I always caution every time we see this that we still have quite a bit of headwinds ahead of us in terms of large expenses coming from kids in care and really just the cost of everything increasing. So we continue to ask our office holders to hold the line on spending. Any comments or questions?
I will gladly make a motion to accept any money that anyone wants to give us.
I'll second.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Walt?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of communication from Portsmouth Municipal Court regarding electronic monitoring house arrest invoice November 2025.
All right, communication dated 11/23/25 for Casey Boone, Clerk of Courts. November 2025, the amount is $11,861 with a total of 818 days, with $1,065 in program costs being paid for by the defendants. That leaves us with $10,796 owed by the county. Any comments or questions?
I make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mr. Walt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of grant agreement between the Scioto County Commissioners and SEVCO regarding the county wellness program.
This is our wellness program for 2026 with SEVCO, which is the County Employee Benefit Consortium of Ohio. Administrative funds $4,000, program funds $9,570. This all goes toward wellness activities for the year here with our county employees. Any comments or questions?
I just don't think it's fair that I can't get a watch.
Oh, did you? Oh, I'm so sorry.
But I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Walt?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of resolution correcting a previously passed resolution in 2025 regarding the fiscal year 2025 CHIP grant.
This is just a cleanup resolution. I think we might have had some typos in here, so this is just cleaning up the resolution regarding our CHIP for 2025. Comments or questions? Hearing none.
I make a motion to adopt.
I'll second.
Mr. Walt?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of resolution establishing a fund for critical infrastructure BX 24-1CP1 regarding the CDBG grant.
So the next two, we're going to be creating line items to receive grant money into for CDBG grant funding for critical infrastructure, program amount $500,000. Comments or questions?
Make a motion to adopt.
I second.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Ball?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of resolution establishing a fund for critical infrastructure BX 24-1CP2.
Once again, another line item to receive grant money, also in the amount of $500,000.
I make the motion to adopt.
I'll second.
Mr. Ball?
Aye.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye.
In the matter of board reappointment to the Scioto County Airport Board.
We did receive a request for reappointment for Troy Huff and Norman Campbell, whose terms will expire January 23rd of 2026. Both of these gentlemen, if you've had the opportunity to interact with them, have been a huge asset to the airport and the airport board, and fully appreciate anybody's willingness to serve on these boards, but they've done an outstanding job, and I'm glad to see that they're seeking reappointment. Any additional comments or questions?
I'll make a motion that we reappoint these folks.
I gladly second.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Ball?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Hi. Hey guys, we're at the end of our agenda.
What?
Yep, we made it, and we already entertained the questions previously, so we will jump to any closing comments from the board. So Commissioner Malt, do you have any additional comments to share before we adjourn?
I have no additional comments at this time.
All right. Commissioner Smith.
I would like to thank all the people that came out, participated today. I mean, you know, whether they agree with what we're thinking or they don't, that's the way the system's supposed to work. People are supposed to be able to come out and voice their opinion, and I appreciate that. And I really appreciate the union folks that came out, because they could have very easily just sat on the sidelines and said, hey, you guys fight it out yourself. But they were here in support, and I want to thank them for showing up and supporting the project as it is, and we will move forward. We'll move forward and make that decision later on. But thank you to everyone that came out for the meeting.
Thank you for that, sir. I'll echo Commissioner Smith. Appreciate everybody that came out. They handled themselves respectfully. I know this is a hot topic item for several. So I appreciate the professionalism that was displayed today. This is how it should work. I still really enjoy the idea that we provide a back and forth opportunity to provide insight and answers in real time, and I appreciate the crowd that showed up today to be able to continue that structure, so we can have full transparency just versus hearing questions and then letting them go unanswered. I have some personal big news. I want to say congratulations to my nephew, Jackson Powell. He was notified early this week that he will be a Ohio State Buckeye for the football team. So the family is very proud of him, super excited about his future. He's a preferred walk-on. He's doing a signing today that I probably won't be able to make it to, but I know the family, we're so proud of you, Jackson, and excited to see him get up there. So to the point, he was notified this week, and they're like, we want you up here Monday. So he's going to be heading to Columbus, cutting his high school career short there at Northwest, and headed to Columbus to get right at it, and hopefully next year help the Buckeyes get across the hurdle and get a national championship. So congratulations, Jackson. We're so proud of you.
Does that mean you get tickets?
Yeah, with the money, you still got to buy them. I think his mom and dad do, but not me. It's a good try. But once again, we're very mindful of the topics we covered today, specifically around the data center. We'll discuss and see if we can't do something potentially in the evening specifically for Franklin Furnace. I think it's a great suggestion. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Mr. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Malt?
Aye.
Mr. Powell?
Aye. Thank you so much, and we appreciate you.